Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Dana Patricio joining us. Excited to have her here today. She's a clairvoyant medium, and well, she's helping people transform their lives with energy healing and all that she does. We want to welcome divinelydana.squarespace.com. That is her website. So, welcome to the show. We're here to learn more about you and your spiritual healing company. So, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you so much for that. That was so powerful. I felt that right in my solar plexus, seriously.
Look at you.
So I'm going to throw in just some terms. Just going to try and keep it a little bit simple, but just like as a spiritual healer, that's the terminology. And that's what I have come to adopt as techniques and modalities in my own practice. So chakra work is something that I've quickly had to develop over time. And it's a pretty hefty practice, especially when you have never meditated before your spiritual awakening. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I can communicate with spirit. What do I do? Like, what is this? So I had a spiritual awakening in February of 2022. It happened extremely abruptly, and was actually divine timing, just how it just like my chakras shot open and I was just like exposed to all of these energies. Okay. And I was never really in my own energy, like in the first place, because I was just so unwell mentally. And so kind of where I've come to be in my journey is, yes, I'm able to communicate with spirit and give beautiful healing messages just for people who, have lost loved ones. And that's a pretty hefty thing in and of itself. I mean, grief is something that we truly, like that takes the life out of us. It really does. And I think in losing my own dad in 2018, that's when I was really like, God, is there a God? Like I just lost my dad and we were, so close. He was my bestie. So losing him, I started seeing the signs and the synchronicities as I would truly pray to him, up in heaven, right? Like that's what I grew to know as a little girl is, growing up Roman Catholic is like heaven, and
Yeah.
God. And so I knew, like I had knowledge, I just never felt it. And so after I awoke in that huge way, that's when God really came into my heart. And it didn't come easy because, like I said, I wasn't in my own body. I was extremely traumatized from what I had been through up until that point. And I started the healing journey. Yeah. I mean, like we all are interested now in today's day and age in health and wellness and healing. And, for me, it was soul healing because I have never felt my soul. I had just always followed what everybody wanted me to do in my life.
Well, I lost my mom in 2017 and to lung cancer, and I had a 2-month-old and 2-year-old, so I could feel it. And it's so amazing because I was raised Catholic as well. And then all of a sudden it's like, what really is heaven? Where is she? And I talk to her and I feel her and things in my body change and I could feel her. Or I got goosebumps now. And I feel like I'm connecting with her. So it's bizarre, but I'm not an empath. But again, they say everyone has the ability, but I think it brought that on to me. Oh my God, the goosebumps don't stop. So this is fascinating.
Beautiful. She's with you as you're speaking of her in this moment
Mom.
right now.
That's why I have all these goosebumps and every hair in my body sticking up.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like we all are empaths. An empath is a living human being created to feel. We feel as human beings and we feel the worst of the worst, but we can feel the best of the best if we allow ourselves to. And just like where I was in my life and kind of the decisions that I had made, I had just really closed off to life explosion. And it wasn't really a choice. I had just ended up there because of the karmic, I guess, life path I had to play out in order to get me to this point.
Wow. Well, I want to find out. I know we're going to talk more about your healing, the work you're doing. You can help us, but I'd like to find out more about you. By the way, you're from Wellington, North Carolina. Is that correct?
No, I'm
Oh,
not from here. Yeah, I just moved here
okay.
actually.
My brother
Yes.
lives down there now with his
No
daughter.
way.
His daughter went down there with his ex, and so now, yeah, I've never
Oh,
been there
yeah.
yet, but I'm dying to come. I heard it's
Oh,
beautiful.
you have to. It's
Hey,
gorgeous.
tell me where you're from. I know you were in the Navy. I mean, let's hear a little bit
Hmm.
about your
Hmm.
background, get to know you as a person
Yeah,
first, okay?
sure. That's so
Thanks.
sweet. Thank you so much for asking.
Look,
So, so I'm actually from Long Island, New York. I grew up there. Yeah. I mean, can you tell with the accent or no?
I live in Long Island. Where?
Medford?
I live in
Literally.
Holtsville. I live off of North Ocean
Stop.
Avenue. So
Oh,
you lived off of Route
stop.
112. Stop. I just
Yeah,
went
right
to
by
the car.
Target.
I went to the Carvel last night to get my on Route 112 to get my
Oh,
6-year-old
my fave.
flying saucers. Yeah,
Mm.
I got goosebumps. The
Oh,
Target, so Portion
love.
Road and the DMV. Oh my gosh.
That's it, girl. The DMV of it all. I mean, come on.
Wait, so you just
Oh,
recently moved from Long Island for Medford. This is crazy. I
yes.
love our connection
Yes.
already.
I
Oh my
know.
God. I
Me
live right
too.
in
I know. See, the synchronicities. Like, I love it. This is so meant to be. Like, it
Medford. And
really
everyone
is.
laughs at me. Holtzville, where the hell is that? Everyone's like from Nassau County. I'm like,
Holston.
okay, wait, okay. Fill me in. Fill me in. This is
Okay.
amazing.
I mean, I feel like there's so much. Feel free to interrupt me because when I speak, I just flow. I just let it kind of channel through
You
me.
got it. You got it.
So yeah, so I actually, graduated from Pat Med right there. And then I went to St. Joseph's College
Mm-hmm.
for 3 semesters. And that's the thing, like, I didn't want to go to college, but like, my parents were like, okay, if you're going to do anything in this world, Dana, you're going to go to college, you're going to get married, and you're going to have kids. And those were like the underlying messages that I grew up with the societal conditioning just from being from that area. It's
Yeah,
just like, you know,
the norm.
so I did that. And 3 semesters in, I was just like, I don't know what the I want to do with my life. Like, I really don't. So then I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna say F it. Like, I'm just gonna chalk it up to God and I'm gonna join the military because I was like craving adventure and just like wanting a change. Like, I had grew up in Medford my whole entire life. So I was like, I'm just ready to kind of be independent, like in that way. So I ended up joining the United States Navy and it was like a really quick turnaround. Like, I enlisted and then it was like bop, 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 letting everybody know. And then I went off and I went to Illinois, went to boot camp, and I'm really glad. It's so funny that we're talking about the military right now because, like, this morning I was doing like my little spiritual ceremony, and I'm a mom of two boys, 6 and 3. So,
Oh,
like, they're down playing Play Doh, and I'm like,
mine are 6 and 8, by the way. Amazing.
oh, yes, love up those. I mean, I'm just loving it. Like, I'm soaking it up as a mother,
Yeah.
because these are my babies and you only get one chance. So
Hmm.
here we go. Anyway, so we'll get to that part. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I see my military pin. And I don't have much left from my military experience, like just being enlisted, because like I was so angry at my experience that I donated all of my uniforms. So I still have my third class petty officer pin. And I was actually looking at it this morning. It's on one of my videos that I'm about to post actually after this. And so yeah, so here we are talking about the military. Anyway, I was stationed in Naples, Italy, and I was a master at arms, which is basically military police. Okay. And I think at this point in our conversation, you can already sense the light in me. Okay. I'm 29 years old, but I was extremely naive at the age of 20, like so codependent on the family unit, the mom, the dad, close bond, loving, loving home, very abundant. Thank God. Like, I'm so blessed, and then it's like, whoop, here we go. Like, just into the military, into this void, of kind of fending for myself in that way as a young woman. So while I was in the military, like I said, stationed in Naples, Italy, I was actually sexually harassed and assaulted by a higher class individual. And from that experience, I just kind of went off the deep end. Like, my mindset, my mental health, like everything was shot. And I actually was extremely suicidal and depressed. And that was oh, and of course, panic disorder because I was so scared and frightened that he was going to, try something again. I don't know. You don't know, right? So I just felt very unsafe. Okay. And that's where it kind of all started. And then from there, I think like my feelings, my self-worth really just dipped after that because like even in high school, like I would just blackout drink. Like, I just really wanted to numb. And I used all the wrong things. I never really focused solely on like wellness. So that was truly lacking from my life. I went on medication to try and help. Like I didn't even know what I was going through. I just didn't even want to see sunlight. So there was a scary moment to where I had to make a phone call and kind of just like advocate for myself. And from there, I was medically evacuated from the military. That was a journey because they ended up putting me in a psych ward, which was the scariest thing for me because I'm like, I'm fine. I swear I'm fine. Oh my gosh. Like, I just didn't really know what was happening at that point because I was like, I just want my mom and my dad. Like, I just like want somebody to hug and hold me for like what I've been through, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of had to just go through the motions. My mental health, again, so bad. I was like, this is like heavy stuff. So I hope this is
Yeah.
okay. I'm
Of
just like,
course it is. This is
I
your
just feel like this is
experience. No,
important.
it's important to get
I
to know
feel like
you
this
as a
is
person.
important.
Of course it
This
is.
is
It's
my,
your story.
this is what brought me here.
Yes.
If I didn't go through that trauma, like trauma is trauma. Like everybody has it. Everybody goes through their own stuff. This is my stuff, you know? Like so anyway, so I got out of the military kind of in a rush because like I was high risk at that point. If you don't mind me, I'm just gonna take a sip of water.
Please, I've been doing the same. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Excuse me. And then I kind of was just like flip-flopping into like civilian life. Like, and any veteran would know that the transition from like active duty military, whatever type of military, into civilian life is hard. I had mental health disorders, like I said, on top of PTSD to where I was hallucinating in that Target in Medford, thinking that my perpetrator was right there. So I still was telling myself like I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. So I really was like suppressing everything because like I just like wanted to live a regular life at that point. Like I was so young and there was a guy there and he ended up becoming my husband and like I just felt like that was kind of like my safety net, like just like to like kind of just like have a connection, like and it kind of just transpired to us being married for 8 years and having two kids. And now I am going through a divorce. So I think just like the part of like having a spiritual awakening was God stepping in and being like, there needs to be change because what your life is right now
Yeah.
is extremely
It's
harmful for your mental health, extremely harmful. And like,
yeah.
I really just want to respect my family. I would love to go into like all the marriage stuff, but like I have two small babies and I respect their father and he's still
Hmm.
active duty military and yeah, I'm just here practicing what I have learned from God and sharing beautiful messages and continuing to heal myself because life is the never-ending healing journey. New things pop up. We go through new experiences to strengthen our veracity of how strong we really are, you know? And then we go off, we pass away, we all die, and we go off, our soul goes off knowing that we're ready for the next experience. Like our soul is ready to expand because we learn. And I learned, and here I am still, like I had to kind of transmute all the pain into love because that's really what life is about is love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. Well, thank you for sharing your story and being so vulnerable and
Thank you.
open. I mean, we all have our
Yeah.
journeys and it makes us who we are. And at
Mm.
this time of the show, I just need to remind everyone how we can reach you. Tell us your website, phone number, social media contacts, anything of the sort.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is divinelydana.squarespace.com. And I also have an Instagram, which is at divinely_Dana. And then from there, you can also link to different things. I have like a link in my little Instagram bio, and it will take you to my website, where you can read more about me and see my offerings. I have many different offerings, that I just love to kind of put out there to share my gifts, in terms of like clairvoyance, spiritual healing and all good stuff like that, Reiki, and yeah. So
Oh my
thank
gosh.
you so
All
much
right.
for having me.
Thank you so much. This is awesome how things just work out. We connect. Okay, now
I
let's
know.
get to you and what you're doing now. And so you had this spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you lost your father. So was it
Yeah.
you lost him a year ago, was it?
No, I
When did
lost him
he
in
pass?
2018.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then
2018.
you had the awakening when?
2022,
Perfect.
February.
And
Yeah.
at that moment, tell me how it all went down. And now let's talk about who you are and how you're
Oh.
able to help people and connect. This is a fascinating story.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. So I after I got out of the military, I actually went back to school. I ended up getting my master's of social work, and I just didn't really know if that was like my true path. Like, I didn't go throughout high school being like, I'm going to be a clinical social worker, but I just knew I had a love for people. I had a love for children. I had a desire to just help and just like, I don't know. I guess that's why I joined the military because like I needed that. That was my way of serving, but in that way. And so now, after having my education, really having that like practicum internship experience, because like you have to intern in order to get your master's. And so did some pretty hefty internships, which was amazing for my experience. Like I interned in a cancer center, Stony Brook Cancer Center, and that was again divine timing because at that point I was right just literally just awoke and I was having extreme fears of dying and death. And like you have to go through that. You have to accept that part of yourself and your human experience that like you are going to die one day. And
Yeah.
so I was watching people, it's scary, cancer, excuse me. And so I was like kind of going through that and like witnessing that. And so, see, I'm like getting so choked up. I'm sorry. Like I'm
It's
very
okay. No.
somatic with my clairvoyance. Like I feel everything.
Yeah. Wow.
And so when I'm like processing through something or talking about something that is very lower vibrational, I
Mm-hmm.
feel it. It comes out, whether it be tears, and like I'm not consciously crying or feeling it, but I'm doing it for like I do it for the collective, and I do it so subconsciously, and I think that's part of like my truly part of my gift. So yeah, after getting my master's degree, that was like I graduated and then like I awoke and then I graduated. And it was just like, okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
shift. Like, let's shift our lives here. But I didn't choose that. It chose me. So, like, of course, like I would have gone on to get like my LCSW, like my licensed clinical social work,
Mm-hmm.
certification, but I didn't feel like it was the path. Like I could always do that,
Yeah.
but instead I was guided to open my own business. And so, in going through like the separation from my
Yeah.
children's father, I was guided back home to live in the house that I grew up in, my mom and dad's house. I had moved out already. I was,
Yeah.
living in Texas and just like, having this whole independent wife life as a mother, So he was leaving to go overseas, and I moved back in with my mom and my sister with two small babies.
Mm.
So here I am, like kind of just going through the motions of having a newborn. This was like my COVID story,
Oh
Like
yeah.
I moved back in with my mom with a newborn
Mm.
and a 3-year-old. So, well, excuse me. And so I was going through that, and then I had my awakening, and I actually opened, not opened, but like I transformed a room in my mom's home to be like my meditation studio because I knew that my gift was so strong and I needed a
Wow.
space to where I could truly feel so protected and contained in these
Mm-hmm.
beautiful angelic energies that I'm able to connect to. And that is what brought me here. Like that was the cocoon, the chrysalis
Mm-hmm.
of the healing journey for me because I had to sit with myself and I had to accept the choices that I made because I was angry at my marriage, I was angry at my trauma, I was angry at myself. I was just angry. Like I was because it was like life isn't going the way that I wanted to. This isn't what I dreamed of. This isn't happiness for me, And when I had that experience in the military, when I got sexually assaulted, I made a promise to myself. I was like, I'm just always going to make sure I'm happy. And if I'm not happy, then like I need to do like a check, and sometimes life carries you away and you get lost in the sauce and you're just like, wait, like I'm not okay. And so I really had to be okay for my kids because it was just me at that point.
Yeah.
And then like choosing divorce and being like, okay, this is truth. I know I'm being abused. And so I have to walk away. And that was so
Yeah.
hard for me. Excuse me. That was hard for me because like I just wanted my family, like it was my family, and I was the one that was breaking it up. But I had to stand up for myself. And the abuse really carried through like all last year, 2022, until like I really had to just like really start fresh and be like, it comes down kind of to like the energy aspect of it all. It's like when
Mm-hmm.
you kind of let that energy into your energy bubble, it like really just like conflicts everything and like it distorts your reality in a way
Yeah.
because you're like, no, like I am so worthy and I am so loving and I am so precious in the eyes of God and source and like it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to really just take your life by the horns and be like, I know what's good for me. I know what's healthy, and I'm going to work on myself so that I can give the best life for my kids. And I could do that as a woman.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody telling me that I can't to keep me small.
Yeah. So true.
So, yeah. So, in meditation, like I mentioned it a little bit in the earlier of this session and like once I awoke to my gifts, I cracked down on meditation and chakra work. And like I had received like really, really powerful messages from ascended masters, such as like Buddha came to me and was like, work on your chakras. And I was like, okay. And I'm so glad I did that
Yeah.
because now that's how I open up to spirit. And I didn't really know that. Like Kundalini awakening, like all stuff like that. Like you got to put in the work. You have to, it's a sacred, sacred practice. It really is.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And by the way, guys, just want to point out again to reach Dana, go to the website, divinelydana.squarespace.com. You're also on Instagram, correct?
Correct.
I got to follow you there. And I know we
Mm,
want to talk a little more about the spiritual awakening journey, which we did, the trauma healing modalities, and how you're helping
yeah.
people with their own mental health and wellness.
Yeah, for sure. So part of my journey, I was guided to step into becoming a Reiki master and receiving that form of training. And I had been guided intuitively to I'm so gracious for her mentorship. She was on Long Island and now she moved to Connecticut, but her name's Lori Antonacci, and she's actually the practitioner of Guiding Light and Wellness LLC. I have to say it because she brought me into my gifts, and without her, I wouldn't be as powerful and strong and like when you go through a spiritual awakening, you're like, am I crazy? Because like you're communicating with spirit. It is a little bit trippy because it's just not the norm, but more and more people now are awakening to this beautiful truth, right? So she was just a catalyst for me. And she certified me as a Reiki 3 practitioner so that
Wow.
I was ready for this step to, as you see right now, we're on camera and this is my Reiki room. And I have a beautiful mirror here because I also have adopted the technique of mirror work. And that has truly, after like realizing the love of God and feeling the love of God, it allowed me to connect to myself in that way to see the light within myself. And so it kind of all goes back to my own self-worth, my
Mm-hmm.
confidence, my just, knowing that like we are light, our soul goes back to the light after we pass away, God rest our souls. But I had to realize that and like finding myself through the mirror and just feeling so thankful for my own body. That was never something I felt after being so traumatized and being in that state of like fight or flight,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people can relate to that because like sometimes we can't even feel our feet.
I know, it's so true. And we're almost out of time. I apologize, but I just want to,
No, it's
I was looking
okay.
before, Lori says, I knew the moment you walked into my house, you were special, Dana. You carry such a bright
Oh,
light. You are
Rebecca.
authentic and beautiful inside and out. I know you have been through so much. You carry such strength, and your experiences will help others along their own path. You're on your soul's journey, and I'm so proud of you. You are a warrior, a goddess. Your energy is
Oh,
unmatchable. All I see is abundance, happiness, and healing. Just stay positive. It is all coming to you. I couldn't be more honored to be here walking with you on your beautiful journey and spiritual journey. I love your soul. And someone else, Gloria, says, if anyone's looking for a psychic medium, Dana Marie Patricio is the girl to go to. I had my first reading with her last night. It was amazing. I have been looking for someone I can
oh,
trust enough to do with. And when I tell you, I felt like I was talking to a friend. My reading was beautiful and emotional, even though I'm not one to really show my emotions. I felt them. I was able to get messages from both souls that are still with us and souls that have passed. So some things are hard to hear, but absolutely beautiful messages. Getting chills just thinking about it, she says. So she wants to thank you for being amazing and making her feel comfortable, and will 100% me making another appointment. So I just want to let you guys know there's great testimonials about Dana, your work. And I assume we're
oh,
going to talk again soon, right? Because I
thank
want to know more
you.
about the work you're
Yes.
doing, how it's going, and
Yes.
to hear some
Yes.
more personal experience. But it's great getting to know you today, Dana. Would you mind, again,
Absolutely.
sharing the website and how we can reach you?
Thank you, Jill. I really appreciate it. So my website is divinelydana.squarespace.com, and my Instagram is at divinely_Dana. And so I think just like from this podcast, like you can tell, like I'm extremely expressive. Like I express myself because I was so closed,
Oh,
and here we are. So
thank you
that's
so
what
much. I just
that's what you
followed
got
you
to
on
expect.
Instagram. All right. We got to run. Sorry.
Thank
We'll talk
you.
soon. Have a great day.
Talk soon.
Bye,
You as
Hud.
well.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.